You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Grab your party hats, y'all, because it's Impact's birthday month. Woohoo! Impact is turning 2, and I cannot believe it. To celebrate, I'm hosting the Ultimate Small Group Experience exclusively for our Impact members. So what is the Ultimate Small Group Experience? It is a virtual pop-up workshop exclusive for members where you're going to receive PD trainings from me, special guests, 25 plus small groups are included that are valued at over $200. We're going to have giveaways within our group, discussion circles, breakout groups to brainstorm best practices. It's going to be so much fun, y'all. If you want to bring your small groups to the next level this semester and to get ready for next year, you are absolutely going to love this. So again, you have to join it during March, Impact's birthday month, to get exclusive access to the Ultimate Small Group Experience. It's going to start on March 29th, but the earlier you join, the sooner you'll have access to all the included groups and materials. So you can sign up today for just $29. Get in on the fun. Go over to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/small groups. Let's get this party started. You're listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So in today's episode, I keep with our theme of the month where we're doing day in the life of a school counselor, and I've been interviewing different Impact members. Impact is my membership for school counselors, and it's our birthday month. So all month we've been hearing from different Impact members about how they're using the resources at their school sites, but more importantly, what they're doing, what they love, what they find challenging, and what a day in the life looks like for each of them. It's been really cool because everyone's been from such different backgrounds. Today I talk with Carey Hughes. She's a former Spanish teacher turned school counselor. Now, Carey's cool. She started in middle school, and then she had a big lifestyle change where her and her husband up and moved and decided to switch everything, new jobs, and now she's in elementary school. I love chatting with Carey. One of my favorite things about our conversation was I was asking her to describe her day in the life, and I thought she was about to be finished with the whole day, and she was only at lunch. This girl has it packed in. She is really getting it done as a school counselor, and it's so inspiring and motivating to hear from her. I think you're going to love this episode, so let's go ahead and dive in. But before we do, just a reminder that today is the last day that you can join Impact in time for the Ultimate Small Group Experience. The Ultimate Small Group Experience starts tomorrow, and I don't want you to miss it. If you've been thinking about joining Impact, or if you're on the fence, today's the day to do it because the Ultimate Small Group Experience starts tomorrow, and you're going to get access to all of those groups. It's like 25 plus small groups valued at over $200. Plus, we're doing the PD trainings from me. We have special guests, giveaways, prizes, discussion circles, breakout groups. We're celebrating the birthday. It's a party, y'all. It's going to be fun. Don't miss it. Please don't hesitate. stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/small groups. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, let's listen to Carey's episode. Hi, Carey. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy to have you on. I just love chatting with counselors from all different backgrounds and hearing about all the great things that you're doing at your school site. It's just super inspiring.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to be here.
Good, good. So tell us a little bit about who you are and your background in education.
Well, I started out my career as a Spanish teacher many years ago, and I worked in high school and then junior high, and then I just really kind of wanted deeper connection or a different connection with students. And I started taking night classes for my counseling degree. And I started my counseling career in middle school and worked middle school for 7 years. And then we kind of just had this life-changing move during the pandemic, my husband and I, and we both got jobs before we even had housing, and did this crazy thing, and I landed a job in elementary. I had to go back to school and take one more class, so I was certified in elementary, but this is my 3rd year, and I absolutely love it.
Oh, I love your story. That's so cool. So started as a Spanish teacher, amazing, with middle and high school. And then now where were you living before, and where did you move to?
So I was in Missouri, but I was in kind of central Missouri in Columbia, Missouri. And then we moved to the Kansas City area.
Okay.
And my husband and I were both home during the pandemic. And he was like, I'm just looking at possible careers in Kansas City. And he had worked for his job for 26 years. And
Wow.
so this was a huge thing. When he said he was looking at jobs, I was like, I better get my resume if this boy's moving.
Right.
So yeah.
So how far is that from the area you were in Central Missouri?
2 hours. It's not real far, but it's just a very different. We kind of went from not suburban really, because Columbia is just kind of a college town,
Okay.
to being in a suburban area,
Mhm.
so close to a big city, and we are loving it.
That's amazing. That's so cool. I love that you made something positive out of the pandemic. I feel like a lot of people had big life changes in
Hmm.
a positive way. My son was born that year.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I've actually been to Kansas City. Okay. And this might be a silly question, but it really confused me because there's like Kansas City, Kansas and Kansas City, Missouri, but it's one city, but it's like
Yes.
in one state, half in the other state, right?
Yeah, it is kind of confusing. Yes.
So,
But yes, and so like when I was looking to move, as far as schools go, I was like, well, I better get certification in Kansas as well because I have it in Missouri. I didn't need it in the end, but I did go ahead, and so I have dual certification,
nice.
just because I didn't know where we'd end up being. And
Right.
how crazy that we both got jobs. And our jobs are 15 minutes from where we decide to live.
Wow.
So
Just meant to be. Meant to be. That's
it
awesome.
was.
So remind me how long you've been at the elementary school you're at now?
This is year 3.
3 years. Okay. Oh, that's right. From pandemic.
Yes.
Awesome. And then you said you had to take one class. I'm just curious. What was the class you had to take to move to
I
elementary?
had to I had to take an extra practicum. So
Mm,
my first semester here was actually I was taking the class at night and had to have a supervisor and that kind of thing. So just a practicum class to finish up.
okay. And what are you thinking
Yeah.
about elementary versus since your career was, with the older kids?
Well, to tell you, this is crazy too. I have always like I got my secondary certification in Spanish because I really wanted to be a Spanish teacher when I first started. And when my son was in preschool, I was like, I really would like to move to elementary. And but just never worked out. And so when my son graduated from college, I got my elementary job.
Okay.
So yeah, I have wanted to like I've and teaching Spanish, I feel like I did a lot of very elementary things. I always told the kids, even though they might have been high schoolers, I said, you guys are like toddlers, like in your language development. And so, yes, we read children's books, and yes, we sing songs, and we do this kind of stuff. So, a lot of what I did was already elementary ish.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. So tell us, what is something you love about being a school counselor?
I think I just love the variety. Like, no day is the same. And it's different from being a teacher, because, I might be doing a classroom lesson here or there, and then I'm working with a kiddo individually, and then I'm working with a small group. And then maybe I'm on an attendance team and we're working on moving our attendance rates up. So there's just so much, which is kind of a good and a bad thing because some days can be very overwhelming with all that. But I love the variety and I love that it's always different.
I agree. I think that's definitely one of the appealing parts as well. It never gets boring, that's for sure.
Right, right.
But what is something that you find challenging or frustrating when it comes to your job?
I think there are times when I would love to adopt some of the kids.
Mm.
I see that some of the struggles families are dealing with, and I don't have the money to solve them, or, I could
Hmm.
just see some of the situations my kiddos are in. And I know that families are doing the very best they can, but sometimes I just wish I could, wave that magic wand and make some of that hard stuff disappear.
Yes, I know that can be hard, especially we can only do so much, right? And you know that
Right.
your reach has gone so far and then that's it. I always remember this example from grad school. We had a guest speaker come in and teach one evening. And I don't even remember like her background. I don't even think she was a counselor. I think she worked with special ed. I don't even remember, but I just remember this one story. And she was like really worried about one of her students, and she would just go. She said she drove by their house at nighttime and would just like park her car outside and just like, well,
yeah.
I know it's like boundaries, girl, but no, but really that like you could just tell she had such a heart, it was like bothering her outside of school. So I just know many of us feel that like taking it home with you, especially after some really challenging cases, you never know.
Yes.
It feels frustrating at times that you can only do so much. So that I agree. That is. Now you mentioned earlier, this is like perfect segue into my next question, because you were saying how each day is a ton of variety. But if you had to describe your day in the life to someone who's like doesn't know what you do, how would you describe your typical day?
Well, like for today, I'll just go with today. I started the day off doing a breakfast club group, working with some third graders on study skills. And then after that, I had a classroom lesson with third grade, and our lesson was on accountability and problem solving and conflict resolution. And then I went from there to, then I had an individual student that I worked with on anxiety and worked with him for a little bit. Then I had an attendance meeting. And so we spent with admin and our SRI, which is school resource officer. And we went through our list of kiddos who are below our attendance goal, and kind of touch base on each one of them. And then I ate lunch, and then I had some breaks that I give kids in our sensory room. And then I met with our school-based therapist for a half hour to go over the kiddos we share. And then I had a couple other individual kiddos I worked with, and I finished the day doing a mediation, and then I went and did car rider duty. So,
oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. When you went through, you were describing your day, and then you're like, and then I had lunch. I was like, wait, I thought this was going to be the end of the day. You had already done so much just by lunch. That is a busy day. Yes, but that's amazing. You're doing so many things, wearing so many hats. What part do you like the best? Like small group, class lessons, or individual?
I love them all. I think I love small group, love small group, but it is a lot to get together ahead of time. And so sometimes, but I don't know. I love them all because I love being in the classroom, and I love doing the lessons because that's how I get to see all my students. And then the small group is fun because kids love a small group and they love that extra attention. Even my kiddos that they told me they were voluntold to be in this group for study skills. My mom made me be in this group. But yet they tell me, this is the favorite part of my day. I love this part of my day. So, like they just love it and they love being together. And, but I also like the individuals. So I just glad that I don't have to choose, that I get to pick all three of them. And, I think the part that is the hardest is the data collection. Just trying to fit that in because it takes away from my time with kids, and I love being with the kids. So my school nurse gave me some good advice a couple years ago. She's like, I have learned you have to do the data like when they're with you. You jot it down that they're there, and you jot down your notes while they're in the room with you. Otherwise, you're taking it home, and then it gets to be way too big. Yeah. And this way you get it done. And I'm like, yes. Yeah.
I 100% agree. I love to use like a counseling log, and I'll just have it pulled up on my computer all day, and I can just jot it in. Or if I'm doing like a one-on-one where I don't want to have my computer, like in front of the kid or whatever, I can have like a sticky note or in their folder or something. But then like with the 2 minutes you have in between, get it on that sheet, because otherwise, like, yeah, that's great advice. Like she said, it's way more daunting at the end of the day to see like, oh gosh, I saw 15 kids today and I have to go back and write all this down. Way easier just to like chip at it when it comes to logging student services.
Absolutely.
And something I did the other day in a small group last week, I had, now they were a little older, so with younger kiddos, this might not work. These were 6th grade girls, but I had pulled up on my computer a Google form for the self-assessment, and we were like doing an activity. And then I had them one at a time come up and just like input their info. The self-assessments, like their name, their email, and then the answer to the questions. And the next one came up, and then it just collected all of those. So that was an easy way that didn't take up any extra time.
Yes, I like that too.
Yeah. Awesome. So you are one of our Impact members, Carey. So we love having you there. So tell us, how are you using the resources that are inside Impact with your students, or how do they help you?
Well, I love the self-regulation journal. I think that was one of the first things that I started using. But I just love, and I especially love Impact 2.0.
Yeah.
Because I love being able to access everything. And I am somebody like, I'm busy, just like every school counselor, I think. And it's just so nice to be able to go, I need this, and to be able to look and to find it and go, okay, I've got something. I can use this. And I don't have to like do that thought process of creating it, because that would take forever. And so you already did all that stuff. And I love the pre and the post tests. And they are like perfect for elementary with the yes, no. Some of them have a maybe in them. I just think they're nice and simple, and it works, and it's already done. So I love it.
Oh, good. Thank you for your kind words. I'm so glad you're loving it. Yeah, that's absolutely why I did it, is just to help counselors save time, because you need to be providing direct student services, not planning something, and definitely not on your weekends and evenings, which is so often when it happens. So we are so glad to have you there. Yeah, this is our 2-year anniversary of Impact this month, which is crazy. So thank you so much. Awesome, Carey. Well, it's been so nice of you to come on the podcast today and share with us about your day and all the awesome things you're doing at your school. Bonus question I'm just going to throw out there. If you have to give advice to someone who's just starting out as a counselor, what advice would you give them?
I would say be out in the halls, like as soon as you start. Be out in the halls, make yourself visible, touch base with all your teachers, but also touch base with your custodian and your cafe workers and your secretaries, because I use those people too, for jobs for my students. And like in my school, we only have one male employee.
Oh, wow.
Everybody else is a female. So our only male employee is our custodian. And we definitely use him. Like, kids love working with him. And for a lot of our kids who don't have male role models at home, it's really nice to have, to be able to utilize somebody who just loves working with the kids too. So, just get out there, be around the adults, and kind of think of how you can use those adults to help with your program.
I 100% agree. I love that you mentioned that. We had a male custodian at the school I worked at when I was in California, and same thing. The kids just loved him, and we would use him as part of like our crisis team. Like if I was in a class lesson or someone couldn't get to someone, they're like, go see Mr. Art, and they would hang out with him for a little bit. He could help calm them down. They all had a good rapport with him because of course he was like super visible on campus. Yeah, he was like an integral part of our team for sure. So I love
Yeah. Some of those people that you kind of don't expect can be some of your biggest supporters.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, great tip. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Carey.
Thank you.
I just loved hearing how Carey is using the resources inside Impact and how she's making such a difference at her school site. I encourage you to join us inside the membership. I think you're truly going to love it. Like I said, if you join today, you're getting in right in time for that ultimate small group experience. So not only will you get all of the normal features included inside Impact, which is access to all of my school counseling resources, professional development, and an engaged community, but if you join today, then you can get access to the ultimate small group experience where we're doing our deep dive pop-up workshop all about small groups. So I'd love to see you there. Again, if you have any questions, you can always send me a message, and I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.